So thanks for agreeing to play with that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What would be the most useful for you to discuss?
I think at this point, it's going to be trying to figure out a way to turn my attention from being so focused and driven and excited about diving into learning about coaching and practicing coaching and everything that I can do to behind coaching, I guess, on a day-to-day basis, trying to figure out a way how to essentially either turn my brain off, or, you know, essentially make it so that I can get my mind to stop running those questions and scenarios and stuff like that, so that I can just be, I can be shut off. I can be with my family. Like I can kind of I can divide my time and have my inner monologue kind of relax. Does that make sense?
It sounds like focus.
Yeah, I'd say focus, and yeah, I'd agree with that. Focus.
So it sounds like you know what you want, and it's more about how to make this happen.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So why do you think it's not happening?
I have a tendency to do this where when I'm really excited about something, it's kind of like my double-edged sword, where like I jump in. Like I think I even mentioned that in one of my comments. Like that's like one of my superpowers. I just jump in. I go full immersion. But the problem is like in the other areas of my life that I want to be present and put focus into, it's hard to the analogy that's coming with my head is like, for coaching, like I jump into the water, right? Well, it's hard to dry myself completely off to be focused on other things. Like I'm still immersed with water. So it's something that I've been, it's like a personality thing that I've been dealing with for a long time.
Can you tell me about the Kristian who is gonna be present and focused?
That guy will have figured out how to, just making sure real quick, that guy will have figured out how to flip the switch, I guess. And what's coming up for me is the ways that I've done that in the past. I almost have to like work out what the problem is in order to not be consumed by it. But I think that's maybe what I'm really trying to get to, is to where I can take the problem and put it to the side and be okay that it's put to the side for right now. And that's so hard, has proven pretty difficult for me.
Can I ask the same question again?
Yeah,
What
go
kind of
for it.
person you're going to be when you can't put it aside, when you can't switch it off?
Well, so the type of person I will be is someone that really understands what's important. And I think in knowing that understanding, it's kind of like a refocusing. But it's difficult because like I know this on paper. I know, like broad view, I know this, but when it comes to actions, typically, um, typically I'm it's still in my mind that I'm still trying to work on it, and I almost don't feel relief uh, unless I come to some sort of either resolution or milestone or something like that. And something that I usually try is, in order to get to that space where I'm focused on something else and I'm able to put things to the side, is like I'll try writing stuff down. But especially more recently with Rich Litvin, with invite change, with my work and family and all the inner workings of day-to-day life, like it takes me a while to just get everything down on paper, because there's a bit going on right now.
And you're smiling as you're saying that.
Yeah, I I'm enjoying it. I'm happy to be where I'm at right now. I've been searching for the thing that essentially like I want to do when I grow up, like that kind of thing, and that I can put all of myself into. And I really feel like coaching or this pathway is uh, is correct for me. And just as far as life goes, like even with the coronavirus stuff going on, like I'm in a really good place, and with growth and development and my family and stuff like that. So even though I have a ton going on, um, I I'm pretty happy.
Can I share what I'm noticing?
Yeah.
It seems like when I was asking you about what kind of person you will be when you put those things aside, you started answering, but then you were going more in the direction what kind of person you are now, and describing what's happening now.
So what kind of person, who would I be? I'm going to take another charge at it. You ready? Who would I be? What kind of person would I be?
And more interesting, if I can kind of push it a bit more.
Yeah, please.
Are you willing to let go the kind of person you are now?
Well, I guess I would have to think about who I am now. Because I mean, right now, I'm the type of person that is immersed and enthralled in this activity. I don't want to give up that 100%, because even though it can be annoying at times to myself and to other people, I enjoy that part of myself. I'm right now I'm searching for if there's a way to not have it have to be 100% or 0%, because if I can change that, then in a sense that's kind of changing who I am and what my approach is. Like, and I would want to be that person, the person that is able to um, define when it's appropriate to go 100%, and then when it, you know what's funny, what's coming up for me right now is I'm the type of person, like when I'm at my work, like my corporate work, I never ever bring my work home with me, like mentally at all, ever. Like I've heard from many colleagues, like they have work dreams and stuff like that. And I think since, for the past 20 years, I've had like a total of 4 work dreams. Like I don't bring it home with me. And I have to figure out a way how to essentially not bring my work home with me. But I think the big difference is that I'm fully invested in this, because it checks all the boxes. But I think that's who I'd want to be. I'd want to be the person that, like, when I'm doing these things, I'm like ferocious. But when I'm here, I have to find separation. That's what I have to find. And that's difficult because all of my coaching stuff takes place at home, and then I'm also trying to separate to be with my family at home. That's interesting. I didn't think it would be a physical location thing. I'm thinking what I need to do is, like, this is like my kind of office area, and I need to leave all of my coaching stuff in here. And like the only time that I'm allowed to put that coaching cap on is when I'm in this room. I think that would be a good start. Yeah.
You're smiling. What's coming up for you?
Well, I guess I'm getting, I now have a direction to go with this, where before it was just kind of me spinning my wheels, because selfishly I didn't want to stop what I'm doing, because I want this growth. I want to spend time in this area, but I also feel it was very important to figure out how to kind of separate. And so that smile was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, I didn't realize that it was a physical location thing. And now I at least have something to try in order to get the result that I want, which is good.
With that certain thing that you can try, and with that sense of getting some direction to go, what's going to be different for you?
What's going to be different is, like, I'm in my house, like I'm on my property. And so I feel like I'm in a space where I can just, be me and just constantly be in the, like, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to get better? Like, coaching growth mindset. But having this essentially I'm going to call it like my thinking room. Like, unless I'm in the thinking room, like I have to be in here, and then I can't, like, if I have to, like, once the door is open and closed, like when I'm outside of the room, like, then it's like, okay, that's all put to the side for right now. I have to focus on family, or I have to focus on something else. And then, like, I know everything is in here. So if, I have thoughts on paper or something like that, I have to physically come in here and put it down and then leave. So that will definitely be different.
What would be possible then for you?
What would be possible?
Yeah.
I'm not having anything coming up with that one. Can you ask that maybe in a different way?
Yeah. So with that thinking space, with that thinking room, what opportunities that were not available for you can you leverage?
Presence. Presence. You know what? It'll almost be like my presence will be stronger. My focus will be stronger than it is now, because right now I have work, I have coaching, I have other coaching, and then I have family. And right now it's like a juggling act in my mind, and it's with me all day. If I'll be able to leverage this, I'll be able to leverage focus and presence now, which I think will be amazing, because I'll be able to be 100% immersed in every area. I'll be able to give it full attention instead of giving everything, not 100%, because I'm constantly thinking of something else. Yeah.
There's one word which particularly stand out for me: being ferocious. So if you are ferocious about what you do, what's going to be happening?
Well, if I'm going to be ferocious about this, I think I'll be able to better set those boundaries and kind of play with where I can put them. And I think that will be really good, because I don't know how this is possible, but I think it'll allow me to be even more effective in my coaching development, because I'll have a more complete, a more whole sense of the other aspects of my life.
Effectiveness, completeness.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Which question should I ask next?
That's a great question. I'm totally going to steal that from you. Which question should you ask next? What's coming up for me is something that I'll ask from time to time with my clients, and it's, what are we missing? Is there anything missing from this right now?
Can I share something?
Please.
Because I feel that the thing that comes up, it's important, but there is something else. There is something else more deeper and probably more valuable for you at this point of time. Just intuition I have.
Well, it's still within the same confines of the conversation we've been having, but like essentially my two biggest areas of focus that I need to be attentive to, and I'll explain that need to be in a second, is coaching, and then it's my wife and my kids. And I think there is something deeper there, but I'll share a little bit with you. Essentially, like with this learning and coaching development and everything that comes along with that, I'm pushing myself towards, I shouldn't say pushing because I want it to happen, but anyways, to like doing this as a private practice or a business or entrepreneurship, like that kind of thing. Excuse me. My dad's an entrepreneur as well, and growing up, like the older that I get, the more I realize that I had a good upbringing. Like I had very loving parents, but what was difficult was the amount of time that my dad spent with his work versus family time. It caused enough of a rift that it affected me to where I'm talking about it with you. And so I constantly have that in my mind. And I want to be able to do it, to do coaching, to do entrepreneurship in a way where I don't lose focus on my family.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is definitely the deeper thing. Yeah.
As of now, how good in terms of not losing the focus on your family you are doing?
I feel like overall I'm doing good. But I also know that I'm going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. And I guess I'm a little afraid that maybe not afraid isn't the right word. I'm constantly checking to make sure that I don't essentially do what my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm thinking that there might be a more valuable way for me to do that. But I'm not sure what that is.
How would you know that you are not doing that well in that aspect?
Well, because when it's time for family, not always, but I just have examples recently where I'm still consumed with coaching homework thoughts or progress thoughts or things like that. And because my attention isn't being completely present with my family, then that makes me think, that I'm not, I haven't found that place yet where like, I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself an A+ for this because I'm completely here. It's more like, I still need progress.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
what do you think you need to find?
I mean, this kind of brings me back around to like those boundaries essentially, and the ability to take the hat off and be present, like presence. Yeah.
So you repeated this similar kind of things in different words: to switch off, to put aside, to put your head off. You mentioned the separation, you mentioned the boundaries, you also mentioned the focus and the presence, this kind of ferociousness when you are fully absorbed by the thing. So like, it looks like what we discussed in both your kind of entrepreneurial part of equation and your family part of equation, they are both revolve around the similar topic of presence and focus and boundaries.
Yeah.
What would you like to do about it? You mentioned one thing about separation, physical separation, the room, the thinking room. What else?
I mean, I honestly really feel like I have to have time. Like it's almost like as soon as work is over, I have to have a moment to just write everything down. Which, I mean, I do that, but I don't, it's like loosely part of my routine. I don't have a scheduled time frame to where I do that. I just do that when I notice that it's consuming my brain. So maybe what I need to do is I need to make that part of my schedule. Yeah. I can actually feel a physical result by saying that. Yeah, I like that idea. I'm going to do that.
How can you ensure that you will do it each time you need to do it?
Well, one thing that I've been working on is my scheduling and organizational skills. So I can actually put a time frame to it. The same way that I schedule my coaching sessions and all that kind of fun stuff, I'll do it the same exact way, where I have essentially a reminder in a box to check on like 2 or 3 different areas. And yeah, I just, once that time frame pops up, that is my cue to start writing everything down. And then just release me from this thinking room.
Yeah. So thinking room, reminders to load everything off. What else?
It's all that's really coming to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah. I'll ask in a different way. Is it enough?
We'll see. I think it's enough right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough right now because I don't have anything else that's coming up. And I think these two things will be a good practice to see what works and what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And then I can identify that and come back to it and start tweaking it.
What will be the cues that you can see whether it's working or not working?
Intuition and just, being able to intuition and timing. Timing's big. And just like the mood of the room, the mood with my family, like it'll be pretty easy to recognize.
So we almost run out of time. So what would be your summary of this session?
Well, my summary is I've learned that I actually enjoy that kind of the jump in, immersion, ferocious, side of myself. But I definitely also recognize that if I could take that Tasmanian devil and section it off instead of it just being able to roam free, then I think that would be a huge benefit. And I think putting up those fences or boundaries and working on a practice of presence and separation, that's a place I want to start from in order to try to get myself to be the person that I see, that I want to be.
Probably the last question I ask, I'm just wondering how can you tame this Tasmanian devil and not lose its gifts?
I don't think you tame it. I think you just confine it. You just put the fences up, and then when the timer goes off, you pick them up and you put them in a different yard.
Okay. It's an interesting metaphor.
Yeah.
So how already you park it here?
I'm thinking pretty good, man.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me